Hi, I'm Larry Shreiner, and I'm blessed to be one of your elders here at the House of Prayer. I'm also a Chief Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force, retired, and enjoying my retirement right up here in Blairsville. But there was a period in my life where I hated the nights. And that's when I was stationed in Vietnam, and I was in a small compound between two cement walls, providing a communications link between the forward air controllers north of us in the jungles and the headquarters down south of us. I hated the nights because that's when the rockets would come in. I hated them because you never knew when they would start, where they came from, or where they'd be landing. In fact, I got to a point where when the sun went down and the blanket of darkness replaced the sun, an alarm bell went off in my whole body, and it just caused my emotions to go rapid, and that I almost couldn't control my nerves. I couldn't control my anxiety, and I had a tremendous fear of death. It was all overwhelming. And at that point, I didn't know that there was a God who could relieve me of my fear. Years later, I became a part of a small Bible study that Sandy was part of, my wife. And through that teaching and that time in God's Word, I learned that there are scriptures, there are promises of God that would relieve my fear and take away everything that I was concerned about when I was in Vietnam. Well, let me share a verse with you, and that was, there are two of them that were prevalent in my life at that time. One is from Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, because I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, and I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." The other one comes from 2 Timothy 1:7. "For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but the power of love and self-discipline." So when I realized that fear is not something that comes from God, but God is the one who can take my fear and replace it with His peace and His calm and His love and His grace. Once I realized that, I said, now I need to change my focus. I need to, instead of facing my fears and looking at them and having them take control of my life, I had to instead give them over to God. Let Him carry them and take them, and let me live within His promises. And here are a couple that I enjoy, and that is, "The Lord is my helper, and I will not fear. What can man do against me?" If God is for me, what can happen? But you know what? I find myself in a faith battle. And the reason is that I have to struggle with the fact, do those promises in God's Word that were written so long ago, do they apply to me today? Are they still valid? Are they still what I can call upon the Lord and He will answer faithfully through His Word? And the answer is yes. And once I discovered it's not just words on a Bible page, they are promises that God made for me. I can do this. I can do this. I can take a look at His Word, and I can live within His Word. And my answer is found in Psalm 34:4. And it says, "I sought the Lord, and He answered me, and He delivered me from all my fears." If I'd only known that in Vietnam, if I'd only realized and had that knowledge of God's presence in my life, I would not have feared the dark. I would have been challenged to be victorious in the dark. You can be too. So I suggest and strongly urge that you open God's Word, find the promises that will meet your fears. Love you all. Have a blessed day.